My name's David Bigolette, and this is my redemption story. My family was a Christmas and Easter only family, and so I was only going to church twice a year, and so I never really had any faith experience myself or any background in faith. That was pretty much the extent of that. And then once I got to high school, I was always just super busy with sports or school or family things, and never really took the time to develop my own faith or choose to go to church myself or anything. And I just began to idolize all the wrong things. I was idolizing a girlfriend, I was idolizing sports, my grades, friendships, family relationships. And going into college, I had everything that I idolized stripped away from me. Broke up with the girlfriend, stopped playing sports. Obviously friends went other places, moved away from family. And ultimately I just fell into this depression. And so going into my freshman year, realizing that I was really sad and had no purpose and no identity in my life was super hard for me to confront. I ended up turning to the things that college kids turn to. I turned to sexual relationships. I turned to smoking weed and doing drugs for the first time in my life. I turned to alcohol, wanting to go get blacked out every weekend. And ultimately those things may have kept me busy for a weekend or a night or a day or whatever it may have been. But ultimately I was going back to my bed, sad and not happy with where my life was, knowing that there was more to my life than I was giving it. And I was fortunate enough to have a really good high school friend reach out to me, and he invited me to a Bible study. And he was going to this Bible study that I had finally been introduced to Jesus. I'd finally been introduced to the words of Jesus, and just hearing the words that they spoke at this Bible study to me and to others were just so fulfilling and so hopeful in those moments. And I'd go back to my dorm or wherever it was I was going, finally feeling a sort of peace that I hadn't really felt in a long time, since I was idolizing certain things that I thought was giving me peace. And it was that same guy who ended up inviting me to SALT randomly one time. And then he ended up getting me to SALT conference. And it was at SALT conference where I like to say it was my total come to Jesus moment. Just that first worship service at SALT conference just totally broke my heart, totally shattered my heart into a billion pieces. And it was kind of right then and there that I realized what my life was missing. I realized that my life was missing Jesus, but obviously too immature within my own faith to actually come to that realization. Even the next weekend, I went and visited some friends at a different college and continued to indulge in the worldly, disobedient things that I was doing. And I got back from that weekend probably feeling the lowest I had ever felt. It was kind of right then in that moment that I realized that I needed to make a choice with my life. It was either going to be doing these things in my life, doing these distractions that I think are going to fulfill me, or living a life with Jesus and giving my life to Jesus and allowing Him to fulfill me. And it was in that moment that I chose Jesus. Since accepting Jesus in my life, since coming to Jesus, my life has taken a complete 180. I've been able to build a community that I love and that is so supportive and that allows me to follow my faith and grow in my faith. It's been just this amazing experience, and I'm so grateful for everything that has happened and everything that Jesus has brought me up out of, and just the way He's changed my life.